up, everybody? This is Rivera. Today, I'm gonna tell you my story. Just for those of you who might want to know, or so you can just have a general understanding of me as you watch my other videos and as you observe me, during the course of the next few years or so. So, really fast, I start with the beginning. I was born in 1989. In February 13th in Boston, Massachusetts, which is in northeastern United States. I moved down to Georgia when I was 4 years old. Me and my family, my mother and my father, and 3 of my brothers. So, I was raised down here in Georgia, and I lived in multiple cities. Just moved around a lot to different houses, different places, and so I lived a really very average life. Nothing spectacular really in any way. Just went to school just like every normal kid, and through middle school and into high school, which was very, very average. Nothing special at all. Sometime in between, me and my other 3 brothers, who were all born in Massachusetts. My sister, my mother had a little sister or a daughter who came into the world when I was 13. So I was in middle school then, and then it goes on from there. And it wasn't until about 5 years ago, about 4.5, 5 years ago, that I started to finally think about, what I want to do the rest of my life. Who am I? What kind of talents do I have, and things like that. My whole life, I never really questioned that or thought about that to any great extent what I wanted to do. So, really late in life, I just, started to practice and recognize and develop my talents, mainly writing, being able to write. It just kind of dawned on me that I had just been a fairly good creative writer since I was 13 years old. Never really recognized and noticed it, and then it just goes from there. Writing and rapping, and starts with writing, then rapping, and I really kind of both at the same time. And then it just goes into all other forms of music, and singing and dancing, and then and now at this point in time, painting, and really just anything. I mean, any creative kind of artistic endeavor is something that I enjoy doing. Another thing is that I enjoy teaching and informing others, and also gaining information. Those are my main joys. And so around the same time, really, when I was 20 years old, really, in summer of 2009 is when I had my first awakening experience, my first thinking outside of the box, greater reality, and questioning all the beliefs that I had up until that point, understanding of the world and reality that I had up to that point, going to what is God and who is God, and whatever else. And so that's where it started. And there was a 6-month period after that where I just began to learn and gain information and meditate. I meditated very regularly, and then all of a sudden, my higher self, I connect to my higher self. In the higher self, it came very just suddenly and very inconspicuously, began to just heighten my intuition, and then it went into actual walking. And one day I was just walking to work, and I I was just going to work and I stopped and I just relaxed and began breathing in a relaxed state, and then all of a sudden my body just starts to walk on its own without me actually intending the movements, and then I was guided all around the city for the next few months, just doing different things, going through different kind of learning trial periods to show me different things and gain in certain areas, and then and also just shown just alignment in the world and synchronicity on a very, very large scale, very miraculous occurrences just happening back to back. And so this happens for the next few months. During this time period, I get just a greater understanding, even more so, and connect to other light beings in the higher realms, and learn channeling and telepathic communication with certain extraterrestrial beings, and just go to different websites and read different books and whatever over the course of this time, and just gain more understanding of what's going on. And this is all happening pretty fast and relatively. And so again, that just goes on for a while, and I go through the emotional journey and do the emotional cleansing and release all the old thoughts and beliefs and emotions, and then regain my child heart, my child self, which is a lot of fun, and it's probably one of the greatest things to experience. And then that's kind of another phase, and then it goes into a new phase where that I'm actually still in now, where I call it the diasporic period, and it's and it also includes my twin flame. And the story goes that in 2011, at the end of 2011, in December, I had a dream, and in the dream I learned of my twin flame, or at least that's what I thought. When I woke up, it was confirmed that that's what that was by the higher realms. And then so from that day forward, my world just really, really changes to just this kind of extreme guidance and extreme trial, and with source, with God, the source itself. And it's interesting because the whole time I had not known that source itself had been guiding me, and very gradually increasing its influence over me, and to guide me on a certain path, and a very narrow and particular path, for a particular reason, and for particular reasons. And so it happened without my knowledge of it, and it actually was until very recently, like a week and a half ago from today, that I recognized that. And so that began the diasporic period. It just began to increase and increase and increase, and then here I am now. And so during the last year and a half is what the diasporic period has been. So during the diasporic period, I just go through just all these different phases of trial, and enter a whole new world where it's just, seeing and understanding and things that are completely just different than anything that I've ever imagined, or really pretty much anybody's ever imagined, at least not very many people at all. And so it's interesting because I'll say this: in order to get the fuller understanding, because I'm not going to go into it all here, you would have to watch other videos of mine, because I do talk about these things over in detail over the course of multiple videos. So like I said, God picks me up as his guide, or rather had been there, and increases his influence over me. And all the while I had been thinking that it was just my higher self or these other guides that I had been kind of communicating with regularly for the last past 3 years. And so here I am now, and I just realized that it's source itself that's doing this, and it obviously has an important reason. And you know, the diasporic period is almost over. It's just, you know, basically my life for the past since I was 20 years old has been just pure inner kind of journey that led me away from the world, and I just been focusing on inner growth this entire time, and that's about it. And so you know, it's kind of culminating now to where I get to actually take everything that I've learned and can actually do something with it, and you know, influence and inform the world with that. So you know, that's where I'm headed. You'll see these developments that I'm speaking of, these future developments that I'm speaking of, soon enough. And so that's where I'm going to leave that, and peace out. Thanks a lot.